Is there anyone else in the Zoom? We're expecting one person, you said?
But he hasn't shown up yet, but I'll let him in. Oh, there he is. No,
All right. So, trying to think of how to start this. Well, hello, my name is Hanif. Um, there we go. Uh, I used to introduce myself as a software engineer. I have been having a little bit of a identity crisis with that since using Claude Code a lot more. I don't feel so tied to the idea of I'm the person that writes code to make products. I feel more in the role of I just make products and I use technology to do that. So haven't come up with a very sleek name for that yet, but that's the way that I think about this. And well, we had planned this, Stuart and myself, about I think 6 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. But there was a post that I had made on LinkedIn, I think th 2 or 3 weeks ago, that he wanted me to talk a bit more about and kind of teach my thought process. And right, so this process kind of goes against the conventional wisdom with developing with agentic coding tools, which is that you make a huge specifications document and then you get the agent to break it down into smaller tasks and do the tasks one by one. I do not like that method. I've tried it a few times. It just doesn't vibe well with myself. So the method that I've come to discover is starting with an idea and as quickly as possible getting something visual that you can see on the screen and then iterating based on that. And you speak to the agent as if it were a programmer that you were pair programming with, and you iterate together to build something that you actually do want, something that is useful. So it's about being more in the moment, not having this huge plan up front. It's good if you have like some idea of where to go, but you don't have to have every single detail decided. It's more like when you're cooking and you taste it halfway through and you're like, oh, this needs more salt. And then you put more salt in. So that's my approach to doing this. And my goal with this session is to show a little bit of not only the process that I just described, but also take this opportunity to explain some things, some software engineering concepts that might not be so familiar to you guys. Because even though agentic coding makes programming, makes app creation much more accessible, there's still a vocabulary that you need to understand to be able to communicate your ideas well with the uh, artificial intelligence. And there are concepts that you need to understand if you're ever going to actually make something that is useful in any capacity. Like, okay, you've built this app on your PC. How do I upload it so that other people have access to it? That's a whole thing. DevOps is a whole thing that a lot of people struggle with, but it's good to have the vocabulary so that you can understand these topics and work your way through them. Right. So, what I would like to do is I'm going to work with Artur, and we are going to basically take an idea and try to get as far as we can building that idea. And I'll be trying to explain things, as I said, along the way, explaining, I think, concepts that are good to know, that you might not know if you're not a software engineer, but are important. And yeah, so I think we can get started. Arthur, do you have an idea?
Oh, I need a custom GPT to help me funnel those ideas is the problem.
Too many ideas.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and what to get done in such a short session. I didn't really prepare.
It's
I mean, I
fine.
have I have I have a bunch of stuff, so I
We
mean,
can always pare it back. If you put
yeah,
out an idea and it's like build a Titanic, well,
no, of
we'll
course.
pare it back a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, well, one idea I had is simply, okay, I have tons of Trello boards that have been accumulated over some time as we are busy cooking. I'm the messy chef and there's a big pile of dishes, but these things are, they need to be, uh, to me, they're gold mines because these are just like me spewing things out. And then if they're lucky, they get into the right lane. Anyway, a lot of the stuff is in Trello for me. And I would like to still find a lot of gems that are still there. And I'm talking in the context of my startup that I've had for 7 years, for example. So I've had developers come and go, growth hackers come and go, my brain come and go. And so I thought, okay, when I switched back to my product role, it was very daunting. I don't know if you see, with Trello and any Kanban boards, they're just like, they're wonderful when they're blank. But they're just hellish to just look at after, and you just see like the decay. So I thought like, well, what methods what comes to mind? Like something way back when it was called getting things done.
Mm.
And there was that beautiful moment where the guy's like, just vomit out onto the wall.
Mhm.
And I like that idea because I have the vomit already for 7 years. So then the trick is like, well, maybe AI could help me distill some of these things in a kind of in the maybe the go get it done methodology or something similar where I could very quickly answer very quickly, is this still relevant? Is this a priority? Or where does this go? Or it tells me like at least I have some sort of idea. So it makes a board on its own, a Kanban, and then it looks at maybe some sort of criteria. And then the criteria needs to be established in the sense that where it has context, which is something like, okay, is this an epic or is this like a minor UX tweak? So that's the gist of that.
Like a Scrum Master AI.
Yeah, because I know that there's stuff in there that needs to be addressed. It's just obviously not on fire because if it was, it would be on my main backlog doing it. But it's something that I feel as part of me going back to thinking about the product to still say is that still relevant today. So basically, I would say a get things done style manager that reads the Trello board. I guess they have maybe an MCP, I don't know, and then just kind of the ideal would be like it would just start having a conversation about the cards, and then at the end of the session, it would, so it already agentically should just look and say like, okay, I definitely put these into the simple category buckets, and then from there, it'll just ask about each part in a rapid kind of fire way, all right? So I'm giving it just enough information, at least in the first pass. You don't have to give it all of it. It just needs to know, is it hot?
Are you asking for a human in the loop verification process of all the important cards that AI will surface to you from Trello?
Yeah, because I think to me, the best thing about AI is you're doing it, as you just mentioned, is that you're doing it together.
Right.
It needs to unlock you, not you just give it and say, oh, please make it all perfect. No. If you have something to vibe off of, then to me, that's really a value.
Okay, so to
Is that okay for that? Well, I have another
Well,
idea.
let me
It's
see if I
probably-
understand the idea.
yeah.
So the idea is that you have one Trello board with a lot of
Multiple Trello.
you have multiple
Let's
Trello
say
boards.
three. Let's call it three.
Okay, you have three Trello boards, each with many cards,
Mhm.
and you want a loop where it shows you a card and you decide yes or no, or it automatic. What is the next step? Like you talked about some automatic criteria that it will judge against. I'm wondering where you want to be involved.
Yeah, so I think the first step is it needs to just digest everything that's there in total. And this is where it gets its powers from, right? It can take that and say, oh, that is a marketing thing, and that is an engineering thing. And then, oh, that is an engineering thing, but it's to fulfill that marketing thing, right? So, okay, now we know where that is. And it already should have some hints there because it'll have either a tag in the Trello card or it'll be in a lane in a particular.
So first we look at a board,
Yeah.
we get all the cards, we sort cards into buckets.
Mhm.
Yes, okay. Do you have an idea of what these buckets are?
Well, I think that would then have to go through some sort of methodology.
Standard business methodology of like.
Yeah, like getting things-
taxonomy, business marketing, sales, those type of things.
I think there's that layer of taxonomy, but then there's the abstract layer, which is the methodology of like, probably like high priority.
Priority, urgent versus important.
Yeah, and yeah, I think there's four quadrants. Because you can,
Eisenhower. urgency.
Eisenhower, yeah, the matrix, yeah. Could be that. So you could, because you could delegate stuff as well, which would be really nice agenda.
So you talked about a few different things. You talked about priority and you talked about urgency, like the 2x2 matrix. But then you talked about buckets before that. Are you saying that you categorize and then you prioritize?
Yeah, I think first, it's either or. It's, to me, doesn't matter which one goes first.
Because they're two very different things.
The AI could prioritize. The AI can't do that
Right,
that well.
right.
So
But it sounds like the buckets
Right.
the buckets are the important thing.
Yeah.
Like you want to know, well, I don't know. You'll have to say what kind of buckets you want, like marketing,
Yeah.
engineering idea.
It'll just basically be either marketing or engineering.
That's it? Those are the
Yeah,
two buckets?
yeah,
Okay.
big enough.
Marketing or engineering.
Yeah.
And so, okay, well, for the sake of time, we won't worry about priority or urgency right now. Because that's, like, as you said, that's something you can only determine the priority. Okay, and then once you've sorted them into buckets,
Yeah, I think once it's there, I would tackle, okay, one space, like let's go right into, let's say, marketing. Because you need to have this whole thing be driven from a product-led layer first, because it has to do with goals. And so once we establish, okay, let's establish those pseudo goals on where the product marketing needs to go, what are our goals there, then that translates to engineering. But some of the thing is sometimes there's engineering high degree goals that are not directly for marketing. For example, we're launching our first new AI release of the tool, which will totally pivot the tool to be pseudo-agentic. That's not a marketing play. That's like a life or death play. That's like, if the thing goes, it's like, it's going to change everything. And of course, marketing will follow that because we could track that through that lens. But at the same time, I have a marketing track that needs to be fulfilled as we're producing this new R&D. So, so there's things like, I don't know, content marketing, stuff like that. So, but yeah, I would say it would start in the space, and then it would basically align me in my priority for the space. So that's a session that me and the AI will have and be like, hey, how important is this? Do you think this is feasible? Oh, that's a big ass car. I don't think you could get that done in a month, dude. That's the AI talking. And then I'll be like, okay, you're right. What happened? What would that look like in two cards?
Okay, so after we've sorted into buckets, then you'd like it to present you with each card and for you to decide whether it's something you want to commit to or no.
Yeah, I would say we need to give it some sort of the simple way is yes, no. And then from there you can that'll really cut shit out
Yeah,
fast.
that sounds like
Yeah.
that was about the MVPs, cards that are sorted into buckets, and then for each of the card, the human says yes or no.
Okay, and then we can, I guess, save a list.
But you need to save it because that stuff that I say no for, that's not
You know, it's here.
it's not disappearing. It's going to be reprioritized
Right.
again in another layer because there's no like forget it, I never want to see it again, and there's not for now. So really not for now. It's really yes, no, not for now. This is where it gets complicated, right?
Okay, so the process is we're going to look at these Trello boards that have cards on them. For each card, sorry, yeah, we're going to sort the cards into buckets. We'll allow the user of the app to choose which bucket they want to look at, marketing or engineering. Then for each card in that bucket, we show the card and allow the user to choose yes or no. And at the end, you get a list of the yeses and a list of the nos. That seems pretty reasonable for what we can do in a short amount of time. So
Could make it a Tinder thing too, like swiping.
you're making it. We'll see if we'll put that as a stretch goal. That'll be
So
if we can get there. So what I'm hearing from the beginning is that we need to interact with Trello. How do we interact with Trello? We need an API. I don't know if Trello, I imagine they have an API. They must because they're a big company.
Or an MCP.
I think
API is better.
API is
Yeah.
much easier.
You share. Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Yeah. If I could add one little pseudo area to the
Mhm.
to the AI, because I it could do it because it'll have the data.
Yep.
A lot of those cards have some sort of tagging and have a certain they're already in a lane that has context like a name,
Mhm.
So it should use that metadata to also give itself context to it. I guess not, not in this particular user flow, but I think that would be the next thing
The
for it
next
to
step.
leverage. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Well, so like I said from the beginning, we know that we'll need the Trello API. I might ask you while I'm
Yeah.
doing this to create an API key.
Can I ask a question about?
Yes, please.
When you go to a page like this, where do you go first? Like, what do you try to understand about all the documentation as it relates to the API to try to understand what to do next?
What it can do.
Yeah.
So well, I'm not too concerned with this. This is information that the AI will already know.
Oh,
I'm trying to find an API key. How can I interact with this? In the old days, yes, I would look through this and be like, okay, what can I do?
Yeah.
What is the right call? What things do I have to show? And I might have to come back to here if there's outdated information that the AI has, and so it doesn't know that it needs to send information XYZ instead of ABC.
You're doing that a lot of the time.
No, I just did something with Notion today, and it messed up with the Notion API. It didn't mess up, but when I was asking for help with N8N, that was a mess. No, it doesn't know. It just doesn't know. So we know that we need the Trello API. What else do we need access to? I mean, that's about it. So we also know that we would like some kind of front end, some kind of interface to look at so that it makes the whole sorting a lot easier. From there, I think that's enough to just open Claude Code and uh, just ask if it'll make something like this for us.
I asked it from Reddit and they were like, oh, everyone's trying to figure that out.
Really?
Like,
Okay.
doing their own strange thing. My spec on Reddit was very specific. It was actually in the subreddit, getting things done.
You did the spec of the app that we're building now. and you
Yeah,
put it on Reddit.
yeah.
What did you say is on is the content of each of these cards? Each card, what does the card represent? An idea that you had, a feature request,
Yeah,
a task?
I mean, exactly. It's a discrete task. Again, like the marketing board may be very, it's my notes mostly, so it's very light in terms of detailed specifications. But the engineering one is much more tighter. But yeah, it's enough that have. Let's see. Let me get page back here. Oh, it doesn't work. I mean, I'm surprised Trello, that last one doesn't have this already. I mean, kind of Notion does now,
Bucket
it's
is
got
chosen.
an AI in it now,
Yeah,
so it should,
when the bucket is
I
chosen,
don't know.
the system will display each card one at a time and allow the user to select yes or no. After selecting, the next card is displayed. At the end, yeah, at the end, we need a list of all the cards marked yes and all marked no. This list should appear on the screen as well as saved in a file. Okay, and at what point does the artificial intelligence come into the play?
Yeah, so the AI will,
Because for this, none of this requires any,
The sorting cards and buckets, right?
I mean, that does, but
yeah, I mean,
is there anything more that you wanted to
the
do?
real agentic stuff would have the visibility of all these cards and kind of do some pre-processing on understanding like, okay, I know what you're doing here, and I have some proposed ideas of what I think could be high value.
I did not tell it how to build this at all. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Oh, I guess that's fine.
The point too is that if you don't tell it exactly what technologies you want, it will hallucinate them and it will just make up ones.
Make up.
Or it'll choose a technology for you. Anytime that you need to voice blank, it will probabilistically choose something for you.
Next.js,
Sorry?
maybe better thing Next.js, maybe it's more popular, you know?
Yeah, it might be easier to make a Next.js project. Oops. Use Next.js. No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm hesitant because uh, I know I've tried to make some Next.js products in the past, and the setup is always a little bit tricky, at least in my experience.
What kind of things do you run into?
I have had a hell of a time trying to set up a project with Tailwind. I don't know why. It's like the easiest thing in the world. And some with Next.js, I've had more luck, but when I've used different frameworks like Nuxt or SvelteKit, it just none of the documentation helps. Nothing seems to get it going. Apparently, there's a big change between Tailwind version 3 and version 4 that just people aren't up to the task for updating the documentation or what.
Does everyone know here what Tailwind is? You guys know what Tailwind is?
But
Okay.
is that like with shade or shade?
It's related and not the same thing, but okay, so on the web, we create documents, HTML documents, and we style them with something called CSS, Cascading Style Sheets. And so this technology is like so many years old. So there have been many changes in the ways that people interact with it. And at the end of the day, it's all CSS. And the traditional way is that you create a file called styles.css, for example, you see here. And then you just write your CSS in that file, and then you link it to the document like this. This is a link tag. What are you linking? You're linking a style sheet. Where is it? Oh, it's right here, style.css. Tailwind is a way to write your styles for your website without doing it in a separate file. So some people are offended by the idea of having your style live separately from the structure that it's describing. So they want to put it inside of the document itself with these things called classes. So originally you would have, like I'll show you in a second, um, a class has many styles in it, and then you just apply the style, that little identifier, to the element. But the Tailwind way is each class doesn't have many attributes. It only has like one attribute. And then you can apply all of those singular attribute classes to an element so that instead of your class name being container, you could have all of these like four, five, six different class names that describe the composition of what it is that you're trying to make.
To make, so did you just say basically, so you have a screen, like we're looking at the screen right now.
Mhm.
Basically, instead of having it just under this container class, which is kind of not descriptive, you have every little part, like a
Right.
button or something like that, that's specific to a Tailwind. Tailwind allows you to be much more specific with.
Right. Yeah. So let me just show you some of the examples. Like here, you can see you're setting the display to flex on this div. You're setting the flex direction to column. You're centering the items within it. And you can kind of read what's going on. Um, because if it was in a different file, you would have to go to that file to see what it is, what that style, what that class represented. So this has been getting popular, like super popular it is popular. It's like the most common way to style a lot of things now. Yeah, with documentation.
What would you say about Bootstrap? Is that dying?
Hasn't it already? Is it dying? I thought it was already, I thought it was gone. I thought it was gone for good. Okay, so as it says, we have created the index HTML. We will we will give it the API key. We'll need a token. And get a Gemini API key. I do have that. And I've created a complete trellis. So we'll power it up and see what it is like. So I will open the project up in Cursor, which is an AI integrated development environment. What did I call it? I called it Vibe Coding.
style.
Just send it, you took an API keys through WhatsApp or through the chat on the Zoom.
Yeah, and the chat is okay. Where is it expecting me to? Oh, I'm just supposed to do, okay, I see. So normally, what I was expecting was for it to make a .env file. This is an environment file where you put all of your sensitive information that the program needs to run. And then the program will read that file, get the values from there, and do what it needs to do. But it looks like it just,
Like the keys and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like it just, yeah, just tells you to put it in right there.
That's cool.
All right, so,
Another example of how if you don't, if they aren't explicit about the things that it says, it'll do stuff like this. But it's just like interesting, gives you ideas, but also may not be what you want.
what is is it this one? I need to find
Yeah, that's right.
okay, yeah. All right. Have you sent it in the Zoom?
Yeah, I can send you the API key and then this is the secret key.
Okay, where is the, oh,
Yeah.
And these are for demo purposes. Make sure to never share your API keys like this.
all right, we'll see what it does. Okay, we failed to load that. Now, can we see why?
Does everybody know what he just opened up? Developer console.
These are the developer tools. They allow you to inspect the current page. There are different tabs here. This is the elements tab, so you can see all of the HTML elements. You can see how it's made up. This is the console where, ooh, 401, why is that? So this tells us when an error occurs. And this is saying that there is an API error. We have received a 401 response.
Do I need even that? Because basically it
No,
generates.
I don't think so because we're not redirecting
Mhm.
anything.
So yeah, I just
Um,
copy.
Okay.
So I
So
think the API Trello, does that actually lead to something that would tell you what it is or no?
say it again. Oh, this?
Yeah, that link. No, it just says.
Invalid key. Okay, that might be, it might be the,
Did you save it?
There's no save button.
No.
No, that's the full key, copy and paste. But it's in order to create it, in Trello they have something called power ups, which is it's another concept. And
The token maybe is not that, because it is a secret. I know.
let's see. It was called secret. In the Trello API, I see secret, not token.
where is it here? If you're looking to build an application for yourself or doing Trello, you can manage generated token. Okay, then click on that.
Okay.
There is a link.
Yeah,
Get the token on the plot. Get your Trello token from HTS.
yeah, I think he's doing that now. Yeah, he's at that link right now.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we had the wrong key. Now we have the right token. Oh, shoot.
Right.
You have
So a bunch of boards.
a lot of boards.
Yeah, like I said. Okay, so let's do There's one like, let's call marketing somewhere. Marketing 2.0, let's try.
Just that one?
Oh, you can do more?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Is there another marketing?
No, doesn't look like it.
Okay, go
There's a
down.
pop marketing.
No, that's all. Go, that's not even another startup. Go down, go down. Okay, do visual sitemaps. What?
Trump tweets. You
Oh,
gotta-
that's a story I got to tell you. So when Trump first got, he's my first client. I made his first website, and when he became president, and everyone was shocked. At that time, he was a severe tweeter, tweeter, and I thought, and he was just blasting so much bullshit. So I thought there's a one way possibly to counteract that by crowdsourcing people to take the tweets that he would make and retweet them to his MAGA people. Okay, to magnify it, but to do it in a slightly twisted way, so that it basically to course correct the thing that he tweeted. So the idea is, so you have propaganda coming at you, and then you have a mass crowd of people reconfiguring that propaganda based on what it is, but to do it in a factual way, or in a humorous way, or in a way that is any counteractive to whatever he's saying. But you would retweet it as if it was his tweet, and it was perfectly designed to think that it was him, and you're just retweeting it. So the idea was to mass produce that and to basically have a noise counteracting noise.
Mm. Oh,
What
interesting
happened?
idea.
Oh, it was amazing. It worked technically. Technically, you would never distinguish, because we had like fake, like this is before AI. We had like fake, people on each retweet to make it even more, socially credible.
Rate limited.
No, everything was cool. The only limit is people. What happened, what shocked me, was that I didn't expect people to be actually afraid.
Actually, what?
Afraid.
Afraid of?
Afraid to be associated to that retweet, to
Because
say
of Trump.
anything or to have anything to do
Because it looked like him.
that made it look bad. It was that level of fear. Because so can you imagine, like, you're going out of the country for a trip and you want to come back, and they look at something, and for them to be like, what's up with this?
So,
No, it was like that. I had people in, friends in my network. I say, hey, I made this thing. They're like, dude, I love it. Haha, it's really cool, but I can't, I can't put my reputation on this. And that to me,
Their
like, that to me was
reputation.
like, whoa.
Well,
That-
you mean that the tweet, it was like
Imagine
display?
you're Trump and you said, fuck the Jews.
Okay.
And you retweet it,
Uh-huh.
and instead of writing fuck the Jews, you write, God, I love those Jew bagel makers. They're amazing.
Mm.
Whatever the hell you want to write to counter that thing that he did, because that thing is out there, because it's on his feed. But if there's 20,000 other people that take something that looks like that and just rewrite it a little bit and feed it out to his network, those people are so brainwashed, they won't know what's what. So the idea is that you would align it back to the center. And that's the thing that people didn't want to put on their profile, because they didn't want to be caught with their fingers on something hot.
Okay. So it was
It was pretty saddening.
it was like a tweet was retweeted by me, but not by me per se.
No, it's on by you.
Let's come back to this.
Yeah.
Let's come back to this. Let's go back to this. Marketing 2.0, nothing else?
Yeah, the Trinity, that's my last growth hacking sprint with a company. Trinity Marketing. There you go. Visual Simons Trinity. There in the bottom.
Ah, this one.
There you go.
Okay.
So I do digress.
We'll see. So normally, the process that I described at the beginning of the session of working iteratively, a lot of the iteration is actually iterating on bugs. So something breaks, or something doesn't work as you expect, and you try to figure out why. and then you get a little bit further, and then something breaks again, and then you start the process over. So,
It's crazy how I went to get water and I come back and you guys have fixed the bug.
oh yeah, yeah, it's great. We just had the wrong. It was an API token, like a personal access token, instead of a whatever the other thing was that we thought. So, let's review engineering just for the sake of time. No description. Okay, this is going to be difficult. I hope you remember the context for these. Does this mean anything to you?
Oh, that's one of the cards?
Yeah.
I was waiting for like three more like grueling steps in this process, and it just sucked it in. Okay. Okay, so that's funny. Okay, clearly, so the thing is like, yeah, where the AI can kind of help is it would do like a first wave pass at stuff. Basically, does it have enough information to make a calculated categorization or positioning? Or and say something about it, or does it have like, I don't know what the hell this is. I need to ask you some questions about it.
So when you
So-
say something about it, what is it that you want to be said? When it has enough information to say something about it, what
Oh,
are
you
you
could
trying to
actually-
have it say?
It won't say, at this stage, it won't say anything, but it would position it in the appropriate,
So for this specific card, would you have it?
oh, there would be other option, which would be, like I said, like, maybe, this is what you find iteratively, okay.
Mhm.
This one it falls into the category of like, what the hell is this, or it needs more spec.
Okay.
Okay, so that's because it's so abstract, but some of them will be a little bit less abstract, but they still need more spec.
Okay.
And so I would have a button that would just put it aside instead of throw it away.
Uh-huh.
But in this case, I would just, right now, I have no idea what the consent. Oh, I know consent is okay, but it's not,
Yeah,
we don't need it. Okay,
Okay.
okay.
It looks like
no.
a bug that's failing to get the description. Would most of these have the description?
Oh, that's a good question. Maybe
Yeah,
not,
we should check
actually.
that.
So let's see, marketing, WP migration, probably not.
No, I think I see consent, the one that we just looked at right there.
This one?
Yeah.
Let's open it.
There's nothing
Surprisingly,
there.
no. I tend to just make a card. And that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, so then there is no description.
Right.
Hit no a couple of times to see whether.
Same thing, yeah, with WP migration. Okay, there you
Okay.
go.
We got some.
Yeah,
This is a link.
right. Okay. Yeah,
Okay,
so so exactly. So I would in this case, like, for me, for it to be useful, it would be, instead of a binary yes, no, it would be like another maybe, because then I have to not discount it, I have to go back and then reprioritize that, because that's a very tiny little thing to do. But it could be, an important link that I need to check out.
I got two ideas from Cindy.
Oh, please.
One is you could take all of your Trello boards and have the LLM consume all of that and then give you insights about it.
Mhm.
And the other one is you can say, update the broken link, and you can have another button besides no and yes, which is go send an agent out and fill the description in based on this and the context of all of everything else. Does that make sense?
Yep.
How would it do that?
I don't know. I mean,
Well, you could give context, for example, things like updating a broken link.
Mhm.
That already is part of, like, let's just say, I would say kind of a maintenance work of some kind. It's really, it should abstract at least that, okay, this is not a huge epic that takes 40 hours that is connected to a big marketing goal, right? This is just like, this needs to be sent to the junior intern, that kind of thing. And when it does that type of stuff, wow, then as a product owner, you can just say, okay, today, Monday, let's just tackle the big stuff, okay? And then see,
Okay.
so I think that's the pre-layer that we need to add into this to make it really 10x. versus, but for now, yeah, okay. It's-
For now, it sounds like what you want is to get a list of the things that actually have enough information to be actionable.
Yeah, I think, like you said, I think the big move would be like
Get the whole.
just the whole thing, and then based on what,
So I got an idea for how to do that, is go back into Claude Code and say, this is great. What I would really like is to have, the first pass be get the context from all the cards and put them into an MD document.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good work. Um, my- Is this a first step, or this is a completely different flow?
No, this is a LLM call to Gemini.
Right, but this is like, it's not part of this process, right? You're just asking for,
Well, because it can get context on each of the different things. Each of
Mhm.
the different cards can get context from the entire context.
right, but what I'm saying is that I can make that as a script that has nothing to do with this website.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We'd like to, so get all of the cards and summarize the gist in a,
Build a context document that takes each card and puts it into the context of the entire project.
build a context document that takes each card and,
Adds it to a document with all the context that this project is about.
why don't we throw a layer of, let's try get things done methodology.
Sure, yeah, it will have that in there, so you can say, yeah, you can
Yeah.
get things done methodology to prioritize.
that'll be, so that'll, okay,
Give
that'll,
the document a prioritization schema.
so
Get
use
things done.
get things,
Yeah, they're throwing acronyms and think of some.
use get things done
Framework.
framework as a way to prioritize the document. Okay, I'm a little bit unclear on what this means, but I'm hoping that it gets,
LLMs,
Yeah.
that they can make the conceptual jump.
yeah,
If you're slightly unsure of that.
use a,
But they, as they're doing this, it is, I imagine putting it into certain buckets. And those things, at the end of the session, will need to show up as a new, let's say, Kanban board with those buckets, those lanes. That would be the final way of.
oh, no, it misunderstood. No, I do not want you to read the review results. I don't. Read all of the cards from, oh yeah, we have to select the,
Selection process. Enter a step in where we pass all of this to a Gemini call, build the document, then do what we've already done.
yeah, this is going to be connected. This is, I was thinking of something differently. Okay, so what we have to do is after we select the boards, so new plan. After we select the boards, take all of the cards from those boards and build the context document as I described. This can be done in the same files instead of creating a new script. So I was going to have it create a different script to then output this file, but I forgot about the part where it needs the board selected. So it just makes more sense to do it in the existing flow that we already have.
This is that sometimes it's easier to start all the way over again rather than to try to fix something that you've already built. It's actually often much easier to start over again.
While we wait, are there any questions? Anything that you guys are curious about?
I would like to Yeah, well, I came late,
Mhm.
so my question is, you're using item 2, the app, I mean the software to write all the prompts and
Cloud Code,
Cloud Code.
yes.
Yes. Okay, and what else? What else are you using?
In my day-to-day or right now?
No, right now, because I saw that you have a lot of or many windows open.
Oh, I mean, I have my browser,
Okay. Yeah,
the
to see what is happening.
Dia browser, yeah. I have my terminal, iTerm2. This is Cloud Code. This is Vim, a text editor.
But how,
This is only for notes. We make notes here only for.
Yeah, this is just for my,
I just notes.
yeah.
One's cursor.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and I have Cursor as well.
Okay. And okay, and cursor is for what? Cursor is for what?
Cursor is what's called an IDE, an integrated development environment, and it's what you use to write code.
Okay.
So this is, even though I have Claude Code do like 99% of the writing, I like to view the files in a project in this environment so that I can see. And I also will use Cursor because Cursor is an AI integrated developer environment. So you have this tab here where you can talk to different AIs and do basically what Cloud Code does, but I like to use it this way in a more focused manner if Cloud Code ever gets stuck.
There's no way to put Cloud Code that you're using into here and have them both cross streams.
Right, you asked about this in the group chat the other day, right?
I don't remember.
Somebody did.
Somebody asked exactly that question.
And you put Cloud Code in there. You can have-
Right, yeah, you can use Cloud Code either from here, and this is the normal terminal, or there's a plugin. So it's right here. Apparently there's some special integration with if you use it this way.
Is it better?
I
Hard to know.
couldn't tell you.
But if you use for the agent code, is the same?
No,
No. Okay.
no, this is just used because you have to think of it in terms of layers. And at one level, you have the model that is actually doing the work, which would be Claude 4.1 Opus or ChatGPT 5. And then above that, or below, depending on how you want to frame it, is the program that is calling that. In this case, the program is Cursor, orchestrating these calls to Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini. In the Claude Code case, Claude Code is the infrastructure that is orchestrating calls to Claude.
So when you're here in terminal
Mm-hmm.
doing or writing the Cloud Code at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, you're looking at it on the another application, but it is in real time. You know
You're
what I
seeing
mean?
the files that it will create, and you could click on any of the files.
Yeah.
So you can see what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
But the manipulation and the logic and the.
Like if it was in the inspector.
Yes, exactly. It's just
Yeah.
like any other way of programming.
Yeah.
But the AI part will be in like code, manipulating the files.
So here, the Cloud Code is basically you're prompting, right?
Yes.
This is the code,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
And you could see diffs in.
In Claude Code,
Or
in Cursor,
in Cursor?
well, diffs of the changes that Claude makes?
Claude makes.
No, you can't see diffs like that.
What change
Code has been changed. I have a.
super important. Red and blue.
Uh,
Green.
Yeah, like the models.
Yeah.
Like this.
To see what's.
Oh,
You can see like these red lines mean these were removed and these green lines were inserted. So that's a
Huge.
difference.
Because that thing tends to hallucinate sometimes.
Yeah.
Now,
Sometimes you can
Sometimes.
use GitHub for version control and you can see the changes, but it's
Mhm.
before you send up to Git. But yeah, sometimes you have much better cursor when you show all the difference.
Cursor's doing
doing what?
the green, the diffs too.
Oh no, this is Claude Code. So
Sorry, cluster, right.
it'll show you in here, but you can't see the diffs here unless
You push it.
you had a Git repository, in which case you could see the changes to the tracked Git files.
He has a question.
Yeah.
He has a question.
Hi.
So when you wrote a good work, a great work,
Yes.
it means you are satisfied because AI will learn it, right? The level of.
No, I just like to be polite.
Yeah.
I just like to be polite. It has nothing to, I don't know if it works any better or not, but I talk to it like I talk to a normal person.
You do.
Cloud does not have memory. Cloud Code does not have memory.
That's the only. That's why it's so good in that.
Cursor now has memory, so Cursor will remember things like
A
that.
great work.
Probably not great work, but it will remember preferences that you have.
Well, I got another question. In Cursor, so you have a list with the AIs you're using, like you said before.
Yes.
Gemini and
Which ones?
ChatGPT. You're selecting them, or is automatically choose by Cursor?
You can have it choose for you automatically. There's an auto mode here. I don't know what their algorithm is for determining which one to use. But yeah, I didn't want to sound so cynical, but yes.
Because you have to have an account, a paid account in
order
one
to
of
choose.
Yes, you have to have a paid account.
It'll be forced on auto if you don't pay for it.
So yeah, you have different models that you can access, or you can add some other ones. People find that different models are good at different things, and they like the personality of different models more.
But there's like a clear winner, no, for code.
I don't know if it's that. Apparently, they have these tests that they do, but I don't know if I.
You using ChatGPT 3.5? Do you like 5?
I've been using it personally, so with the chat application itself. Not inside of Cursor. There were a few times when the Cursor CLI came out 2 weeks ago, I was using it for like a day and I tried it out. I wasn't thrilled by it. But no, I think in general, I think Claude, especially 4.1 Opus and Gemini 2.5 Pro are superior models. In terms of understanding what's going on, even in writing, I think they do a much better job of understanding what it is. Like if you ask it, here, please take these 10 LinkedIn posts that I made and try to extract what is my voice, and then use those guidelines to make a new post out of this journal entry. ChatGPT does not do such a good job with that, but the other two really seem like they do a better job of understanding the context.
At least not immediately, because I've seen that ChatGPT, you need to talk a lot to understand the way you speak, and even try to imitate your.
Oh yeah. That has happened.
Yeah, but you have to, talk a lot.
Yes. That might be it's related, I think, but I think, yeah, that is a different thing that does happen. So, you're gonna have to tell me if this is what you want, because I didn't quite get it. But
This
if
is the document.
this is the document that was created, we have things like the title of the card, we have the bucket it's sorted into, what was the board it was on, the list it was on. I don't know has everyone used Trello or something similar to that? Does everyone know what Trello is?
Trello?
Yeah.
I haven't used it, but it looks like I've
Just,
before.
it's Kanban.
It's a Kanban board. It's imagine that you have different lanes, or what they call them, where you have cards that move across these lanes. So you're just classifying these cards in different ways. A popular way to do it is to do, doing, and done. So you start a card in to do, you move it to doing, and then you move it to done. But the categories can be whatever you want. The idea is that you have cards that move across these categories. So the list is the name of the category, if I'm not mistaken, right? So you have a list called to do, Artur, and then we have a description and a link. So
It's a card.
Each task is a card. Yes.
Yeah, if I were doing this again, I would have it say, this is what I want, ask me one clarifying question at a time until you know what I want. And then I would build a context document that way, because this, it basically just gave me word vomit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just showing the chart. Yeah, it's just showing all the information. Oh, I mean, perhaps there's something at the end, a treat.
Okay, something. So it's a.
Wait, are these? Hold on, because these. Oh, okay, it's just the separate, the second list. So you have 9 that are urgent, 30 next actions. Not clear on these projects.
Mhm.
Someday maybe. Oh, I see. These are the categories from getting things done or get things done. Okay. So yeah, it categorized the cards based on the get things done framework,
Mhm.
which if you guys are not familiar with that, is just a framework for being productive, to have certain
Criteria.
criteria for an organizational system so that you always know where things stand. And yeah, it's just an organizational system.
But
All right.
that it made its decisions on, based on maybe there's a tag, maybe the lane has something.
Okay, so
Or-
well, it did tell you that 21 projects need to be broken down into actionable items and that 70 need clarification.
That's
So
great. And that's where the fun begins, because then you have a session with that and you
Yeah.
just go rip through them and you have it should know, it should have criteria if it was really good to say, what does it mean to tear something down? Because you want to tear it down to a certain amount of discrete information that is just enough to fill one card of work. And you can create that criteria. So you could say 1 card for me, okay, that means 1 day, 8 hours. Maybe for another person, that's 1 hour. Whatever it is, it should already estimate, okay, that's gonna be 4 hours. You know, generally, my developer hates that shit. Dude, I think, well, the thing's at 2 hours. What are you talking about a day?
This
You know?
is where everything's headed, because it's all headed toward orchestration. So like, this is what we're doing right now, is we're orchestrating the machine intelligence to do all sorts of things. And there's deterministic one, which is programming for the past 30 to 40 years, where this is what programmers is, they use deterministic, where you know what you put in and you know what you're gonna get out. And there's bugs and they break. This LLMs are probabilistic. So it means it's basically hallucinating. It's creating variables, so you never know what you're gonna get. And so it's machine orchestration. So we're basically orchestrating the AI, but in the process, we humans now have to figure out what we're good at. And the things we're good at are different. This thing can go through millions of documents in a second and make sense of them in ways that are impossible for us to do. But what do? It's the same thing you were talking about, which is we put our human judgment into it and say what good looks like, which the machine can't do yet.
right.
Ideally, when, you know, soon it would, like I said, we'll have contact and you can learn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
Decisions.
is what they're trying to do. All the
Yeah.
foundational labs are trying to do that.
I mean, it can only pattern match on the past. I think you in your present moment are you're the only authority on what you want today, right?
And where I think is the sweet spot for me is that, you know, when you get in moments in your life when you're dealing with something and you have all the context that you know, but you're just like overwhelmed. You're just overwhelmed and your friend says, hold on, let me ask you, because I don't know that much, so let me ask you some basic questions so that I can be a better friend. And when that conversation happens, you're feeding it like your therapist, you're feeding it mostly 95% of the stuff, but it's that 5% that's completely unbiased, and especially if it's so trained in the best practices of project management or product-led growth or whatever it is, it should smell shit for you. Or it should be like, hey, Artur, I don't know that you're saying this, I get that, but I would put it here. What do you think about that? And then if you say, what? You're out of your mind. Why would you say that? And then it'll tell you. And then it makes you think just 1 second about like, shit, you're right. Or no, you're full of crap. Thank you. Thank you for confirming my need, or thank you for making me think a little bit out of the box. That to me is the work of art.
Mhm.
And if we add that layer of processing into any apps that you make or any tool that you make for yourself with it internally, I think to me is the game changer, is the way to go. Because it has already the knowledge of, and you could be actually be even more tricky. You could say, as in get things done. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
You could, okay, it has general stuff, but where it even shines is if you already know a particular philosophy, in my case, it's, let's say, get things done, but you could put a person's philosophy that you aspire to, that you know is the ultimate project manager, and you have a document that you could find, put that in and say, hey, take all the wisdom from that and use that lens for our conversation or our process. And it's gold,
Mhm.
that to me, I think is the hack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I don't have too much more. I'd like to do a brief summary, but before that, does anyone have any questions about, well, anything really, about software engineering, about coding in general?
In Master, you use Gemini, you connect Gemini ID or something like that to
Yeah.
process.
Yes.
The first screen.
Let's take a look and see what the code says. So we have
Yeah,
functions to
initial,
load boards, display
form, which
boards.
just said, look, to start with your access to Trello, and you're gonna use Gemini API, so give me all your keys.
So we have this function here, sort cards with Gemini, which hits the endpoint, passing in the prompt, and it sorts all of the cards based on that. So I think at this step, I don't think there's an
Is that good code? Can you look at that and say, is that good code or not? Like, is that something that is that is such a quick thing that a programmer can do, or does that take time to be like,
Okay, yeah, take time.
it takes time?
It takes time, but yeah, right now, but it's not good code because it's everything in one file, I think. It's much better to have,
Everything split up.
yes,
Yeah.
so you can go, it depends.
it kind of depends, yeah, because for a project that is a total of 557 lines, I mean,
Much.
it's if you were trying to go much bigger than this, then I probably would break it out into 2 files. But for what this does, I think at this stage
What are all those stuff?
it's fine. This is to prioritize to sort it into the framework. I'm curious on how it did that. We categorize categorized for GTD. How did it do that?
And to make a model.
Oh, it just
What is it?
it looks for certain words in the text. So if the card title includes words like implement or build or create, then it says that's something actionable that can be done immediately. Yeah, not the best algorithm. So we would have to be more specific next time to say, use send that information to an LLM in order to determine whether or not it fits into one of these buckets. Don't just use keyword
Keywords.
matching. That
Don't be lazy.
yeah.
And all the foundational labs have an incentive to make it as cheap as possible.
I have the sense of that when I'm working with these things. The first passes are like that. They just veer on the lazy side.
I mean, it was trained on people.
Yeah.
And that's
People are lazy. So it might be malicious, but it might just be this is what we are.
UX, the user experience should be like easier, I think.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I have left is I'd like to highlight a couple of important terms that we talked about today. One is an API. These are very important because they're essentially how programs communicate with each other. It's an application programmable
And
interface.
you always like it as a preference to an MCP.
Yes, I think it's just a lot easier. This is not totally related to what you just said, but it's a rant I would like to get out anyways. Um, it is a lot easier, I think, to use just regular scripting and APIs. I wasted 2 hours of my life this morning trying to set up an N8N flow. For those that don't know, N8N is a workflow automation tool like Zapier or Make before it, that allows you to make these kind of workflows where you put a node on the chart and then you say, okay, this node does this, and then it takes that data and puts it to this node, and then this and this and this. It took me 2 hours to get something that I did not even get working, and I gave up, went to Claude Code, asked it to write me a script, kind of like what we're seeing here, and in 10 minutes, I had a
That's
product.
what we should do sometimes, how to write good scripts. Like what scripts do, what you can do as a programmer inside of a script that helps you in your normal daily life. And how do we get the code, or how do we get Claude Code to
Yeah.
write those for us?
Just another hack I've seen other non-coders do with NAA is you talk to the LLM and say, I'm working with NAA and this is what I need to be done. And it generates an NAA file for you that
Mhm.
you import into.
I have not tried that.
No, it's,
I mean, I question it. If people say it works, then I'll have to defer to them. But I have been disillusioned by N8N, and yeah, it's just so much easier. Well, easier in a sense. It's not easier. Yeah, yeah. If you're used to looking at
Yeah.
code and thinking about code, then it's easier.
yeah.
And it's very funny because just last week I was talking to a friend of mine about this, and he's like, I don't see the upside to using N8N if you know how to code. And I tried to vouch for it, and then here I am 5 days later. Like,
Yeah, I use it. I use to make agents.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
mhm. But I would at least I would advise you guys to look into doing a script with Claude Code. If you just say, I need it to do this, this, and this, it'll probably do it,
Mhm.
and it'll do it very quickly, because it just knows how to connect things, it knows how to structure things, and you don't have to sit there in the UI dragging things around and making sure that this node actually output the thing in the right format. It's a lot easier to debug and to iterate on if it's just in a simple
Can I-
script.
If we have time to ask is there a way to simply connect the GitHub to this?
You mean upload this to GitHub?
Or because that to me is like usually the best practice, no? To have that attached to some repo.
Yeah,
So that you could roll back and
yeah, of course.
that things like that to me, like as a missing piece for me.
Oh, do you want me to show you how to do it?
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Right. So,
And do you need to can you do this step like you did after this, or have to be the first thing before you even write a first line of code?
you can do it at any point.
Okay.
At any point you want.
But this is clutch.
I
from what I
usually
hear.
do it on my first step.
First thing.
Yeah, because I have
You go to github.com, you create a repository.
So,
maybe put Trello, no, like put it Trello, Trello.
Trello management.
It's repository.
And if it's necessary to use
Follow
all the platforms at the same time, I mean, if I only want to code with
I'll pause because I want to explain.
with Cursor, I mean, obligated, I need to use all these platforms at the same time.
No, if I understand your question, no, you don't have to. And that is a very important point to make. There are a lot of people that talk about how amazing certain tools are. If you listen to all of them, you will drown in information and you won't get anything done. So the important thing is to go step by step. And if you can, try to figure out your own way. What are the tools that you like to use? But if you're going to be listening to other people, choose one thing, see how you like it, see if you can get good with that, and then add another thing. But it's very intimidating. I speak from experience. It's very intimidating when you see someone that says, this is the way to code with AI. And then you look at it and it's like, bro, it's like 10 things. I can't do all that.
Mhm.
So yeah, don't feel pressured to do everything. Just pick what you think.
But best practices are evolving, at least the foundations, like this one.
Yeah, I get it.
Like this one, like.
All right, this is an important thing that will always be here. So we are going to make we're going to make the Git repository. Then we've already made it's hard, it's difficult because I use the same word. You have the Git repository, which is like a database of all of the changes made in a project. And then you can host that repository somewhere. So GitHub is a platform that hosts Git repository. GitLab is another platform that hosts Git repositories. So I made a repository on my GitHub account. You can see it here. It's empty. And they give you instructions for how to push an existing repository from the command line. So I'm going to copy these instructions. I'm going to actually don't have an existing command line, so I Git repository, so I probably would use this. But
You can ask ChatGPT also.
yeah, you can just ask it to do that. So in here, I will type the two magical words, git init for initialize Git repository. And then I will type some more magic words, git add period, which means to add all of the changes. These files are changes. So like I said, Git is like a database of all the changes in the project. I just created the repository, so all these files are changes. All of these are new. It hasn't seen them before. You can see the U here means untracked. So now I will add these files. All right, now Git knows about my files. These have been added. Now I will make a commit. A commit is like a change, what's the word? A set of changes, like a change set. So I'm committing all of these changes at once, and it's like a package. So I say typical is like git commit with the word init for like, or first commit or whatever, initial commit. And so now we have these, it created those entries in the repository. So now it knows all about it. And I can actually type git log to see what has been committed to the repository. I see it right there. Now I can paste that command, these commands that I found here. And I'll quickly explain. Remote is the repository that is in the cloud, so to speak. So it's not on your computer. We want to add a remote repository that's at this location. If you look, you'll see that it's the same, it's Hanif Carroll /5 code Trello management. So it's the same URL. This is just using a slightly different format because I am using SSH, which is something we won't get into. But this is what a typical link that you would recognize looks like. So it's the same thing. And we are going to do all of those, add the remote. We're going to make a new branch, and we're going to push that branch to the remote repository. We're back in the remote repository. We're going to refresh. And like magic, we see our changes. These are the files that we committed just 1 minute ago. And that's how you put your repo on GitHub.
Okay, can we do one little line change to one file, like add a comment? and
Yes.
See how that works, push that.
We're gonna create open source AI Whisperers projects, so we'll have our own GitHub that people can add to and do all these open source things.
So I added a comment to this line that's not helpful in any way, but it shows us how to make changes. And so instead of adding it down here in the command line like I did before, I'll show you guys how to do it from here. If you use Visual Studio Code or Cursor or pretty much any IDE, it will have this functionality where it will show you the Git features that you have available. So I have this change. I want to add this change. It says that it was modified because it already knows about the file, but the new state of the file doesn't match the current state that it knows about. So it knows that it's been modified. I want to stage that change. It means I want to place that change up for saving in a commit. And then I could say, I added a comment. And I can either just commit or I can select this here and do commit and push at the same time. So I will do that. Looks like it's done. I refresh and I see we added a comment and I can click that and I can see everything that was in that last commit that I just did.
And show us how to, if you fucked up, how to go back.
That is a very important thing. That is a command I have not memorized by heart. So I know what I would do is I would Command K and I would ask Cursor to roll back that last commit. Git reset -- soft head squiggly 1.
Not just undo.
It just rolls off the tongue. It's so easy to remember. So not in any terminal, not in any terminal. In Cursor. In Cursor you can. That actually is a point that I wanted to bring up. There is a product called the Warp Terminal
Oh, yeah, I heard this.
that you can talk to it like a agent, like an AI agent. So it has these two. I actually have it installed, but I ran out of requests for the month. So I can't actually show you anything cool. You see out of requests, but here it has 3 different modes: auto detection. It has a terminal mode so that I can just type in, I can type in commands as if it were a normal terminal. But it also has an agent mode where I can say, just like I just did, can you please roll back the last commit? Or can you make a script that does it? Whatever.
So just so I understand, this layer is a way to do agentic terminal commands.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. And
It's actually very incredible.
Yeah. Okay, but
It's very incredible. Yeah.
so okay, so what would this replace anything then?
You could replace Claude Code with this. And actually the way that they handle, I'd love to show you, but I'm out of requests. But the way that they handle diffs in the UI is very nice. It's very, perhaps I can show you. Oh, yeah, you can see some stuff right here.
But are they using Claude?
You choose. You
LLM?
can choose what model you want.
So you just throw in your Claude API and say, hey, I want the Opus, and let's go to work.
Your API key, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know if they allow you to add your own API key. I think
They have their own.
it's like the Cursor model
Mm.
where you have to pay for the amount of requests that you want per month, and different plans have different limits on requests.
So these are like the ChatGPT agents or something like that.
Yeah, it's just like that. It's just like that, but it's part of the terminal.
Okay.
But then it's redundant to then have like the code
All of them together.
and
It
this
it
workout.
would be if it were. I mean, it depends on what you. It depends on how highly you rate each of those models.
What do you use? Well,
Well, ultimately, I don't think I'm going to be using it any longer. But I could see the value, but I like Claude Code,
yeah,
and I don't know.
Claude Code is the superior one for you.
It's
Yeah.
for what I do. If I was spending more time in the command line, then yeah, Warp would be worth it.
She had a really good question too, on Cursor, and show all the 3 different places where you can use AI inside of Cursor.
Right. So you have, this is the chat. I don't know what they call this actually, but it's like you could chat with the agent here, and you can choose your model. So this is one thing where you can have an ongoing conversation. And here you could always press Command K, just like on a line, Command K, and it'll select some things that are nearby that it thinks that you want to add to the context. Or you can select and then press Command K, but you won't be able to talk to it like you would here. It'll just do whatever you say. So if you say, let's say replace, I want to highlight this and I want to replace this with a more meaningful comment. That was not the best display of its abilities. Normally it's much better.
If you did want to take a chunk of code and ask what the hell that is, you'd have to do it in the chat window.
Right. So if I wanted to do that, I could,
At that point, already knows the context of.
They've got all this
Everything.
magic.
yeah, I could say, right, like here, for example, what does this script file do? And I could just start talking with it.
So you have to be in the file to ask that, or
No.
No. Because I'm on this file, it knows, so it just assumes, but I could, let's see, there's a CSS file in here now. You just press @ and then you start typing the name, styles.css, it's right there. And then you can, yeah, you can add that to the context. And so Opus is talking to us now, responding to the question, what does the script file do?
A question is more related with me as a developer. I have a legacy product
Mhm.
that has 12,000 lines of code, and I want to refactor everything.
Mhm.
So what is the process of that, for example, project I have to do?
So it doesn't necessarily have to be painful. Is the project tested? Like, are there automated tests?
No. It's a Web2 project that I did like in 2020, but has a lot of line of code. So what I want is to refactor everything into Next.js, for example.
Right.
It's in vanilla JavaScript right now.
So it's
You-
not
I
like
mean,
refactor.
yeah,
it's
It's
a-
not like
you're
you're
not
rebuilding.
Rebuilding, let us
Yeah.
with our.
Okay. In that case, with the rebuilding, there's more of a case for the method that I was against at the beginning of the talk, where you have a big list of requirements and then you tell the LLM to go through each one by one and break it down into smaller tasks. There's more, you could argue more for that case if you already have an existing product and you want to port it to a new framework. This is actually something I did very recently, where I am building a mobile app that is like a language exchange platform, and I built it in React Native. This is a cross-platform framework that allows you to make a mobile app for Android and for iOS with just one code base. And I built it with React Native, and I was struggling a lot. There were a lot of problems with it, fighting against the framework. And so there's another cross-platform framework called Flutter. So I decided to just port it. And so the end of that story is that it was way better. Definitely recommend Flutter. But to your point, I had to make sure to specify certain things. So you need to say what things you want to keep from the old app that you don't want it to change, because it'll just, for example, if that app was talking to a specific API and you need it to talk to the same API, the new app, then you need to say, use the same properties, don't invent new properties, use the same exact properties, make sure it works exactly the same. You just have to be more upfront about that. But probably where I would start, if I have to do something like this again, would be to use Claude Code or whatever your agentic tool is of choice, and open the project, and I'd ask it to summarize the basic features, not at a technical level, but from like a project requirements document point of view. What does this application do? And if you could even help it along by giving it some guidance saying this application has 3 main areas, These are the main functionalities of each area, and then ask it to give more details, do some research in the code base, and to fill in that document. And then you take that document to the new code base, and then you say, let's work on one feature at a time and try to get it working from there.
So I will ask this prompt to check the code. I give some explanation, give me a document.
Yeah.
Somehow, and then take that document into a new project.
So we should probably end.
All right. Well,
Awesome.
I hope this was helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. I'm always happy to help out with this kind of thing. I'm very passionate about building things, and I know that there's a lot of information out there that is very confusing if you're not already in the world of software engineering. So entering through a more non-traditional route of vibe coding can be pretty scary, but my hope is to give you guys the knowledge that you need to be able to just breeze through creating products on your own.
And you're writing about this stuff on.
A little bit, yes. Yeah, I'm writing a little bit. I should write more. But yes.
I'm on LinkedIn. That's okay.
Oh, yes. Add me on LinkedIn. Hanif Carroll, HANIF CARR.